Okay. At ngayon po, let's talk about the debt trap that we keep hearing from the Western media, some writers in the Philippines, debt trap that Sri Lanka has experienced, so-called debt trap, Myanmar and other countries. In fact, the U.S. Senate spoke out recently, just September 12, a few days ago, in the second week of September, complaining about China's debt trap accordingly. A letter dated August 3, posted on Georgia Senator David Perdue's website a month before President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to the White House, the U.S. Senate raised concern about China's debt trap diplomacy and negative effects of the Belt and Road Initiative to developing countries, which later turned to IMF for bailouts down. No? The fact is, this is rejected by President Xi Jinping. For example, in the recent forum of African countries with China in Beijing, around 60 countries from Africa attended. China pledged 60 billion for Africa as Xi rejected the debt trap claims of the United States. In fact, this is from Rajia Khan, chief African economist at the Standard Chartered Bank, said she saw the 5 billion earmarked for African imports as a broad commitment to rebalance trade, including by importing non-commodity goods. That could be read as a commitment to help kickstart African manufacturing. In fact, manufacturing nga ang pinapasukan ng China with the Africans. So Africa becomes a manufacturing base, not just a buyer of manufactured goods. From the same report, Ms. Khan also noted that Mr. Xi's commitment to exempt some very poor countries from debt payments due in 2018, she said markets would watch carefully to see whether China was prepared to restructure medium-term loans, particularly those owed by Zambia. So may debt forgiveness na ginagawa ang China doon sa Africa. In fact, the Africans themselves, the China-Africa Summit rejects fears of development project debt trap. Sabi po rito sa ulat from Business Day. Business Day is an African paper. Chinese and African officials on Tuesday rejected criticisms of Beijing's debt-laden overseas development projects as they wrap up a summit that included a new 60 billion assistance pledge for the continent. In fact, if we review the countries, some of the countries that they keep saying has been subjected to the debt trap, for example, Myanmar or Burma, sabi dito, there is no Chinese debt trap, says Myanmar minister, as government pushes for joint port project to go ahead. Thong Tun insists his government is keen to press on with Deepwater project after reports it was negotiating to keep costs down. Said Thong Tun, we would like to see this project get off the ground. And Thong Tun, who is also chairman of the Myanmar Investment Commission, told the paper, he dismissed the fear of a debt trap, saying he was confident it would be a win-win deal. Then, of course, Sri Lanka. Paulit-ulit natin na babasa, naririnig kung paano yung Hambantota port ng Sri Lanka ay naging debt trap para sa kanila. This, of course, the New York Times, last June 25, 2018, had this report, saying that in the 9 months of 2014, the number of vehicles handled at Hambantota crossed the 300%, crossed the 100,000 mark, up more than 300% compared to the same period in 2013, with the number of ships called more than doubling to 161. That is the 2014 figure, But the New York Times, according to Moon of Alabama, to show how bad the Chinese investment is, the New York Times pointed to only 34 ships in 2012. But the 2017 and 2018 number is at least 10 times as big, or 340 ships. Why wasn't the new number used? So the New York Times report of 2018 June used a 2012 report para palabasin na napakaliit. In 2012, the port was just 2 years old. Siyempre, it takes time for everything to build up. And so kita natin yung information war against these projects of China with different countries and against the Belt and Road Initiative. So importante po itong dahil paulit-ulit nila ginagamit yung Sri Lanka as an example of the debt trap down. And ganyan din po sa Pakistan. And this one is from Times of Islamabad. Ang pamagat po, CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Is external debt a myth or reality for Pakistan? According to data released by the Pakistani government, about 42% of Pakistan's external debt comes from multilateral financial institutions, and about 18% of its debt comes from the Paris Club. China's concession loans account for only 10% of the total external debt and are much lower than the interest rates of the commercial bank loans. In addition, according to a study by experts from South Asia Research Center, Pakistan's debt to China accounted for 10.4% of its total external debt, accounting for only a small part of the external debt structure. So 10% lang. How can China be, therefore, the cause of the debt problems of Pakistan? Ganyan din po sa Sri Lanka. China only has around 12% of the total debt of Sri Lanka. And ang totoo, mas malaki by 5 times ang Japanese loans to Sri Lanka at yung mga multilateral loan institutions. In fact, this is from the Sunday Observer. Si Daniel Alfonsos in Sri Lanka saying, China's legendary loans to Sri Lanka, a tale of 5 myths. I just took 2 of the 5 myths, para yung iba hindi masyadong relevant. But myth number 5, sabi, myth number 1, Chinese lending is commercial. And the fact is, sabi niya, that is a myth, and this is the fact. Since 2012, most Chinese lending is concessionary. In the last 5 years, Sri Lanka's loans from China Exim Bank amounting to $3.1 billion were all concessionary, fixed at 2%. Sri Lanka also borrowed $400 million from China Development Bank in 2014 at near commercial rates, roughly 3 to 5%. For context, Sri Lanka's borrowings from international markets are more expensive, generally over 5%. And myth number 5, Sri Lanka is trapped by Chinese debt. Sabi niya, the fact is Sri Lanka owes more to U.S. investors than to China. Loans from Chinese banks only account for 10% of Sri Lanka's overseas debt. But official statistics show that 39% of Sri Lanka's overseas debt is borrowed from international markets, largely U.S.-based institutional investors. So, nabaliktad nitong mga U.S. commentaries on this.
Pinag-ibayan yan sa atin.
Go ahead. Sige.
Actually, it's not different from what we are experiencing. Sinasabi nila na debt trap, we can only ask ourselves. Most probably, the opposition forgot that almost 48% of our national budget annually appropriated is to servicing these loans. Yun lang yung pambabayad lang sa utang.
Yung debt service na tinatawag.
Yung debt service natin sa tatlong financial institution. The World Bank, the IMF, and the ADB. Ipagsama-sama namin, 46% wala na sa tapyas na kagad sa ating sa ating interest. The same thing also, kung may utang tayo sa China, which came from, bago lang ito, yung mga loans ng ito, wala pa yata 10% yan. Less pa, wala pa nga. Iba nga, hindi pa dumarating Paano tayo magkakaroon ng debt trap?
Kaya nga, itong mga utang natin sa IMF, World Bank, and ADB, pinilit pa sa atin yung automatic debt appropriation.
Yes. Another thing,
wala nang debate sa Kongreso.
Another thing is that there is a clause na bihira nakakaalam yung tinatawag na SERA. Yung
currency exchange
adjustment.
Rate adjustment.
Rate adjustment. So kung bumabagsak ang piso, Dumalaki ang equivalent sa dollar na binabayaran natin, nag-a-adjust yan. Kasi binabayaran natin sa currency, sa dollar currency. Dollar pa naman, wala pang ibang denomination, kundi sa dollar tayo magbabayad. Lumalaki yan. Yan ang hindi nila sinasabi yan.
Okay.
At the second, dapat i-analyze natin yung debt trap kung saan tinutukoy. Two aspects, yung loan itself or the interest rate. Kasi tayo, nakatali na tayo both sa loan at saka sa interest. Kasi when you talk of interest rate, you don't call it debt trap, you call it usury. Pag masyado na mataas. Pero pag in-trap na, yung tinatawag na binabayaran sa 48 na halos hindi na tayo mahinga, talagang debt trap na hindi ka na makalabas doon eh. Nagsiservisyo ka na lang sa utang. Yun
ang nangyayari sa atin.
Yun ang nangyayari. Pero hindi nila nakikita, doon ako hanggang ngayon, hindi ko maintindihan eh. Wala nagtatanong, hindi mo ba alam na kalahati ng kakainin natin, kaserbisyo na doon sa utang. At yung utang na yun, hindi na natin, at yung utang na yun, for your information, mahigit na kalahati doon, nagsimula lang kay Aquino. Isinisisi pa rin nilang tao na malaking nagawa rito sa bayan na ito. Yun lang ang realidad yun.
Sinisisi pa nila kay Marcos.
Hanggang ngayon, alam, pero pinakamalaking bahagi ng utang, 3/4 na yata ng utang, galing na sa kanila. Pero hindi balik kahit 3/4, bibigay ko na sa kanila. Ano nangyari sa 3/4 na yun? Wala akong nakikita.
Wala man lang tulad nung panahon ni Marcos na Pan-Philippine Highway, San Juanico Bridge.
Wala. Yun lang ang tanong doon.
Okay. Well, ito, naririnig natin madalas dito sa Pilipinas ngayon tungkol dito sa build at yung mga investments ng China at yung mga assistance and then yung mga loans na sinasabi matatali tayo sa debt trap. No? Alam naman ng ating economic managers itong issue ng debt trap. Ano? In fact, yan nga ang sabi ni Pernia, Philippines extra careful with China loans, sabi ng NEDA. Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Ernesto Pernia says he is well aware of the experiences of other countries like Sri Lanka. Kahit si Pernia, misinformed about Sri Lanka. No? But anyway, sabi niya, which fell into Beijing's debt trap diplomacy. Mali si Pernia dyan. Pero sinasabi ni Pernia, mas maingat nga sila tungkol dito sa mga utang with China. Unlike noong panahon ni Cory.
Well, he should look at himself. Because being the NEDA chief, he should examine how much we are paying servicing for this debt.
That's right.
That's the debt.
So we will
almost
remind
50%.
We will remind him.
Magbasa muna siya.
Sabi niya, the port sits along one. Anyway, that's another. This is yung ano ni Ralph Rivas, no, report. So I want also to remind that reporter na alamin mo yung totoo tungkol sa Sri Lanka. The next one is, of course, si Sunny Dominguez, and it's right on the screen right now. Chinese debt trap, sabi ni Sunny Dominguez. Americans did it too, Dominguez. Sabi niya, maganda nga ito eh. Natuwa ko rito. Sabi niya, when the Americans bombed Manila, then gave us a little money to fix it up, they extracted from us 1946 to 1974 parity rights. That means to say they had access like any other Filipino to our resources. So we have experienced that, sabi ni Dominguez. Yung debt trap na ginawa nitong lalo na yung pagwasak sa Manila, City of Manila, during the last days of the Second World War. Tapos hindi tayo tinulungan na magtayo.
Precisely.
Pipilitin tayo ng mga utang.
Let me repeat what I said. Debt trap simply means that there is no way you can finish your debt by paying it. No, there's no way for you to do that. Because of the clause, the so-called SERA clause. Imagine, aside from the interest rate, they demand that you free float your currency. When you free float your currency, it weakens. And when it weakens, you increase, that increases your debt. Tumalaki utang mo dahil bumababa ang piso. Pwede ko nga sabihin
Mas maraming piso ang kailangan para mabayaran yung dolyar na
may hinala nga ako dyan May hinala nga ako dyan. About, siguro ko baka pwede natin sabihin na siguro na 1/3 o 3/4 siguro ng 1/3 ng utang natin dahil lang ang epekto lang niya ng tinatawag na currency devaluation. Yun lang epekto niyan Huwag na natin isama ang interest rate. Yung actual loan baka napakaliit lang Yung halaga na inutang mo, halimbawa, sinabi mo utang, kwentay mo utang, ito, utang halaga, plus interest, ito halaga. Baka mas malaki ang binaba na bumagsak ang piso mo, mas lalong dumoble yan.
So kung tingnan natin yung panahon ni Cory Aquino, yung bilyon-bilyon na inutang niya, exchange rate noon, 24, 25, 28 lang, no? Nandoon lang, di ba?
Oh, 28.
No, nung dumating na sa panahon ni Ramos,
Umabot ng 54 yan.
54, yun ang binabayaran natin para mabayaran yung utang.
Yan ang...
Bumaba ng kaunti after some time, 48, 45, and then taas na naman. And of course, yung mga pautang ng IMF, World Bank, ADB, maraming conditionalities.
Yes.
Yan ang problema. Dito sa China, walang ganyang kailangan i-privatize mo ito, i-privatize mo ang kuryente mo, and so on and so forth.
Hindi nga meron niya, ayaw ko lang banggitin ang pangalan ng kumpanya na yan. Nung meron tayong crisis, yung tinatawag Asian Contagion.
Contagion.
Contagion. Halimbawa, bibigyan ka ng pera at tatanungin ka, gusto mo umutang. O sige, bakit sinong ayaw ng pera? Sasabihin pa sa'yo, harap-harapan, kahit na walang tubo. Walang tubo eh. Walang tubo. Pag ibigay ko si Paolo, pautang kita, walang tubo. Hindi ka ba nag-isip na? Pero alam na magpapautang sa'yo, kahit hindi mo siya bayaran ng tubo, wala pang isang buwan, madidibal yung currency mo na napakalaki, tubo na rin yun. Wala pa ako utang na loob sa'yo.
At ang Estados Unidos lang nakakagawa niya.
Siya lang nakakagawa
because they are
niya.
the premier currency in the world.
Precisely, yun ang sama ng loob ko dahil ang ekonomista natin, hindi nakikita yun. Yun lang ang sama ng loob ko. Yung mga tinuturuan nila sa Estados Unidos mag-aral ng ekonomiya na hindi nakikita yun. At hindi na nakita na ang utang natin nakalubog tayo, hindi tayo makalabas doon. Hindi kanila ma-distinguish ang debt trap sa usury. Hindi nila ma-distinguish. Kaya nga, going back to that, kaya nga nanggigigil sa ang mga Amerikano sa China, nung itinayo nilang AIIB. Dahil mamamatay yan sa negosyo nila. Alam mo, ang banking, may kasabihan na hindi nalulugi ang banking, pero for the first time, nakikita ko malulugi sila. Kasi ang kinabubuhay ng bangko, ang yagsisiyaman na executives ng ADB, for instance, is dahil sa malalaking sweldo. Pag wala nang uutang sa ala, patay na. Yan ang magsisimula dyan.
So, the lesson here is yung mga impormasyon at mga nababasa, narinig natin sa kanluran, at inuulit-ulit na hindi naman pinag-iisipan tulad nitong reporter, pati ang ating economic planner na si Pernia about so-called debt trap, please pag-aralan nila muna bago sila magtuturo tungkol sa mga problema daw ng ibang mga bansa. But anyway, I'm happy na narinig din natin kay Sonny Dominguez na sinagot niya.
Mas matalino siguro yun kasi sa bata niya.
Mas matalino naman si Dominguez kay Pernia siguro. So, maingat po ang ating economic managers. Not that I agree with everything that they do or say, but it is very clear na we have been warned more than enough about the so-called debt trap, and it is not coming from China. It is coming from the Western multilateral institutions and ADB, which is led by the Japanese.
American-Japanese.
Not the AIIB. So I think it's very clear. We have again and again repeated to explain the Sri Lankan case, and now Myanmar and Pakistan. Itong mga bansang ito, mga 10%, 12% lang ang mga utang nila sa China. Pero sasabihin, China ang dahilan ng kanilang debt trap.
Pero isang common denominator na napansin ko dyan, lahat yung kinagagalitan ng Amerikano kaya na-debt trap sila. Kung hindi nila kaaway, hindi ma-debt trap yan. Yun lang naman yun.
Okay, so you have any last comments both on the trade war and on the debt trap?
My only last comment is that we should examine ourselves. We have here a benefactor like China offering us practically economic assistance. It's not only economic assistance they are doing. In fact, they are doing everything to help us develop. It is the assistance extended to us by the Chinese government is different from the Americans and the previous colonizers we have. And we should be thankful for that.
I think that goes also for Africa, and that is why they had a very successful Africa-China summit in Beijing, where 60 African countries, more or less,
by the way,
attended.
Alam mo ba, ang significance ng China-Africa Summit, masyadong galit ang Amerikano. Alam mo kung bakit? 53 heads of state pumunta sa Beijing para dumalo. Ang Amerikano hindi pa nagawa yun. Hindi pa nagawa ng Amerikano yun. Yun lang masasabi ko.
Bakit hindi matutuwa ang Afrika? Ang dala po ng China trend, Roads, buildings,
Yes.
hospitals, schools.
Yes.
Anong dala ng Estados Unidos?
Baril.
African
baril.
Command. Baril nga.
African Command.
African Command. Ano? And that was the strategy of the United States to suppress the growth of these countries, to create chaos so they can take over
There
the
is
wealth.
no way they can do
No.
that. There is no way
Ang
they can do
China, ang strategy is develop these countries, make it wealthy so that they can buy continuously goods from China and China can buy goods also from them. Ganyan po ang so-called development diplomacy. Yan ang totoo. Hindi debt diplomacy, kundi development diplomacy. Sige, so let's close our discussion.
Actually, up to now, if I may suggest, sometimes all you have to do is to read back Karl Marx.
Karl Marx, okay. Oh.
It's not because of socialism. Alam mo, wealth creation ay production. When you produce, you create wealth. Basic na basic yan sa economics. Tinuturo yan kahit hindi Marxism na libro. Nakalimutan ng Amerikano yan. Nawala sa kanilang produksyon. Usury ang naging negosyo nila. Yun lang ang masasabi ko dyan.
Well, there's an old Chinese saying that if you want to get rich, build a road.
No.
Pero sa Amerika, if you want to get rich, get a gun. Ano yan? Puro baril at gera ang kanilang ninenegosyo.
Ito lang ang magyayari sa kanila.
Okay, maraming salamat Rod and sa inyo po. Ito ay linggo ng mga bagyo. Baka yung ibang mga programa natin hindi natin ma-tape dahil may babala na tungkol sa malakas na bagyo na darating. So maraming salamat Rod. Maraming salamat din sa inyong lahat. Ano?
Thank you.
Okay. So, ayan po. Hanggang sa susunod na biyahe po ni Rod sa iba't ibang mga educational institutions sa China para magtalumpati, tayo ay magpapaalam na muna. Maraming salamat po.